I love you, eToro, but you need to sort yourself out. So I woke up to this comment this morning from Jace VXR on a comment on my out of sync video that I uploaded yesterday in regards to how the synchronization between copiers and traders can be so out of sync if the trader value is so much higher than the invested, meaning, if they have over 100% going up to like over 1,000% profit and still holding the asset. So Jace has commented, he said, after searching the PI Telegram group, I don't know what that is, but good. I've come across this from Ed Butler, aka Eddie B123. I think it's more important to look at the difference between the invested and value amount in terms of percentages for that asset in your portfolio. For example, if Apple accounts for 15% of your portfolio, and if the price triples, then it is likely going to cause sync issues between you and your copiers, and they copy the invested amount. You might then find that your invested amount is 15% and the value amount is something like 45%, but this depends on the growth of your other assets. However, if your invested amount in Apple is only 0.5% and the value amount only goes up to 1.5%, then that is going to have less impact on your portfolio copier correlation, although it's arguably still worth addressing that difference too. So in essence, it's backing up what I'm saying in the video, the out of sync video, but it's good to know that popular investors are also talking about this. It's not good for copiers to copy someone with such a high difference between the value and invested. For example, S-Man that we looked at yesterday, it's like 3% invested in Neo, and it was something like 19% value because he held almost 900% profit for that asset. So basically what Eddie's saying in this quote that Jace has put on, if you've got 15% in something and it triples, that's 45%. That's going to show much, drastic difference. That's going to be way too big, and it's just going to screw everything up for your copiers. But if the initial if the initial invested was only 0.5%, then if you triple that, it's not going to make much difference. It's just going to be 1.5, which is much more easy to handle. So what's the difference between these two? Between the small one and the big one? Well, again, it comes back to the thing I mentioned yesterday. It depends how the trader wants to go about it, what style they want to have. If they want to do it just for themselves, but still have a public profile, which is odd and questionable, then fair enough. Have Apple for 15% and triple it to 45%. You do you. But if you're looking for an eToro based, a copier orientated eToro account to increase all the copiers and eToro will start paying you, you can't really have Apple at 15% and then hoping that it goes to 45%. It's just too much. Start low. I mean, this is kind of why on my deep dive review that you can get a 10 out of 10 as a grade for your risk management, which is a 10 out of 10 score for being a 3% in your biggest asset. So nothing is going over 3% as the invested value. This is why, everything is tied together and connected. They're one and the same. So if you have this 0.5% to 1.5 or even 3%, which was, the best grade that I give on the deep dive, 3%, that's only going to go to 9%. And that's obviously doable. So again, the traders watching this, you need to ask yourself, do you want to do it just for yourself? And if so, I'd probably recommend having a private profile where people can't see it, because otherwise it's going to be causing more risk to the copiers because you're being more risky. But if you want to be a popular investor, you want to be popular with the people, you want to communicate with them, have all these copiers come on board and put their money onto you, and ultimately eToro paying you 2% AUM once you reach the black star tier, then this is something you need to think about. However, it was when Jace posted a link to Felix Falix's video that he put on the 15th of January. In this video, Felix Falix goes through some examples of what I'm about to say. The risk score here, every trader has a risk score between 1 and 10. 10 being the most risky and 1 being the least risky. This risk score, how does it come about? What does it mean? What's it based on? There was some confusion and conflict between how it's calculated. And I'm sure a lot of people still don't know. After watching the Felix Falix video and, talking around a bit, people tend to think that the risk score is based off value. Okay, well done, Jace. You've actioned that quickly. I guess I can't use you as an example. Good, S-Man. Hey, good. Okay, so S-Man's not watching my videos. So let's say, in this example with S-Man, that he only has Neo as an asset, and everything else is just cash in his account. He hasn't used it. So he's invested with 2.88%. So let's say the other 97.12% is just in cash, waiting there for a rainy day. So it would seem people generally think that the risk score is made up of this column, the value column, but it's not. It's made up of the invested column, which, to be perfectly fair, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to be the invested because that is the invested amount. The value does obviously play a part. If you're trading solo and no one's copying you, the value would still play a part because of compound interest. That figure is going to keep getting bigger and bigger, like it's a virus or something, and is essentially affecting the original invested and making this bigger, even though on the screen it's not moving. They're like merging together almost. The value and the invested is becoming one because of how compound interest works. So understandably, that's why people would think risk score is based on the value asset. Based on the value column. So risk score is only to do with the invested column. Or another way you could look at it is the risk score is for the copier's eyes only. Because the copier copies the invested column. So to me, that all makes sense. When you think about it, put all the pieces together, it makes sense. When you're a new copier, you copy the invested, 2.88%, not 18%. The risk score also reflects the invested, of how risky this person is by how big or how small this is, the invested. Which is what a new copier will have. They'll copy that 2.88%. So the risk score is in perfect synchronization and correlation with what the copier is going to copy. So that all adds up and makes sense. But eToro needs to step in, I think. The issue is the value when it gets too big. This is causing issues. I mean, just refer to the video I made yesterday about out of sync. If a risk score, let's say for example that S-Man, these first three top three trades here, let's say they're all 2.88%. And this number is 33%, 33%, 33%. His whole portfolio is so big from these three that all the money is somehow just these three. That to me seems very risky as a trader, and especially a trader who's looking to be copied, because effectively you've only got 3 assets. Your whole portfolio is based on 3 assets. So why doesn't the risk score reflect value as well? And the answer is, I don't know. That's something for eToro to look into. I mean, as I said, I completely understand why it would be reflected, why the risk score would reflect invested, because the copiers copy invested. But the value is also playing an important part because it needs to be incorporated into the risk score as well. I would suggest for the eToro team to combine a formula, a very simple formula that combines invested and value into the risk score. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it would be a very simple mathematic equation, very short, because the value plays a huge, huge part in what new copiers experience. And the value needs to play a part in the risk score, eToro, not just invested. I mean, back in the day when Jazzy 128 thought that when new copiers come along, they copy the value. And that the risk score was based on the value too. But it's the other way around, they're both here. Both risk and copier is here. But some people think the risk and copier is in this column. Some would argue it should be. It's a grey area. It's hard to just have a black and white answer and say, it's this, it's that. Because if it was, for example, to do with the value column, yeah, the risk score could be based on the value column, no problem. But if a new copier come along and it was forced to copy the value, let's say this was 33% again, the trader thinks it's 2.8, that's fine, that's a small number. But if it's 33%, and S-Man unwillingly knew that the copier was copying 33%, that's not good. So I agree that it should be, for a new copier, it should be on this number. Well, more on this number. As I said, it's a grey area. It's hard to sort of, but they're both connected. Invested and value are both connected, and they should be reflected that they have that connection in both the risk score, definitely, and when a new copier comes along. Please sort this out, eToro. Have a look into it. Watch this video. Watch the video I did yesterday, Out of Sync. Please sort this out. There's a lot of confusion in the public about this. I hope everyone who's watched this video has learned something from this. Please share it, write a post about it, get the news out there. As I said, it's not news to everyone, but I assure you there's a lot of people, especially the new people that's just new to trading or new to eToro more specifically. They don't know this. Get this information out there. Let's clear the fog around this subject. Thank you for watching.